is very interesting. Its description is an inherited predisposition to multiple allergies. They're usually food, but it can occasionally be airborne. So it looks like his allergy pattern is coming from an inherited predisposition. So the homeopathic will strengthen his body in that area so that this pattern starts to disappear. And as I go through these areas, I can also go in and highlight the foods or the symptoms that he has a specific issue with, copy those to notes, and once I've gathered all the symptoms that he's familiar with, I would then press Control-N to bring up my notepad, and I would go through the symptoms, and I may type in twice a day, once a week, ask them specific questions so I get more details on how frequently the symptoms are occurring. Because one of the differences between a good technician and a great technician, a good technician can run the equipment. A great technician will gather all the symptoms so that when the patient comes back in 3 weeks, I can go through that list and we should see almost all those symptoms are either greatly reduced or completely gone. Because the process is so natural and oftentimes so slow, they'll get better and they may not even know it. I see this several times in a clinic where I'll bring up my notes and it'll say, you were having problems sleeping 5 of the 7 nights. And they'll go, I don't remember having problems sleeping. I'll go, that one's gone. You were experiencing gas twice a day, usually on an average of 3 days a week. And they'll be like, I don't have any digestive problem. Okay, that one's gone. That's the advantages to a great technician versus a good technician. Then to finish the process, I would then go down and click on test plate. If he has any items that he's currently taking, I would put them on the test plate and test to see what effect they're having on his body and then know what to do with them at that point. Once I finish that, I would click on imprint and I would take an existing homeopathic. In this case, this is one that I've made up with 20% alcohol by volume and water. I would put on the test plate, click start, and it takes about 45 seconds. And the items in green, the balancing signatures, are put in multiple times. In 45 seconds, those signatures are going in over 3 million times, and it's storing that information in between the carbon bonds of the alcohol, the minerals, and the water. And we've done a study with this with Bruno Fraser at the physics department at the University of Utah, where we took 20 bottles, randomly labeled them, imprinted 10 of them, and did nothing to the other 10, gave them to the physics department and said, can you tell us the difference? And they were able to sort them in the 2 categories. And once we told him that we were transferring electromagnetic signatures into the liquid medium, he explained to us the process of how that actually occurs with the carbon bonds. And once the transfer is complete, I would then get a label, and you could see his dosage is 7 drops. On the label, I'd write 7 drops, morning and night, for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, if there's anything left, throw it out. It's done its job. It's specifically designed to correct this process, move you from point A to point B. Once you're at point B, this remedy is no longer valid. Your body will pick what it needs next to move from point B to point C. It can take anywhere from 2 to 12 visits to fully restore health. Again, it's not 100%, but the success rate is anywhere between 85 to 97%. We have some of the best success with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, lupus, any type of allergy disorder or autoimmune disorders. I can also, if I want to use the laser, put the laser on the test plate, click on the button for laser, click start, and if I've stored any signatures on there, you can see that it's erasing those signatures, and now it's encoding it or imprinting, transferring the signatures of the electromagnetic patterns into the laser. I would then take the laser, and the laser has a horizontal line. I would back far enough away from the patient. I would start from the head, go down to the toes, back up to the head, and I'd repeat this process 3 times. Then I'd have them slightly turn their head, and I'd go over the ear points, 1, 2, 3, And I would do the same thing with the opposite ear. On the ear points are all the acupuncture meridians or energy meridians to all the organs and glands in the system. And then to make sure the treatment worked, I would click this button that says laser effectiveness. The patient's still holding the electrodes, and it will go in and tell me whether the laser treatment was effective or I need to redo the laser. So in this case, it says the transfer was successful. I'd send him home with his homeopathic and any nutritional items that came up. I would also add those to his regime, reschedule him in 3 weeks before he came back. I'd then take the electrodes, and I would go into my print options, select the options that I desire, click print, give them a hard copy, or email it, or both. And this is the process, and you can see how fast it is, and yet how comprehensive it is.